Former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rawley, detained. When I saw that came up on my timeline, I said to myself, this must be some AI fake news type of thing. But when I went on my phone and started to do some research, I saw this video coming up with Dr. Keith Rawley describing what he went through in Antigua, Barbuda, being questioned by the immigration in Antigua, Barbuda, and then later being told that the police have interest in talking to him. And when I heard that news, I'm like, what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago? Trinidad and Tobago seem to be wilding out from the other day. First, we have a state of emergency, and within the same time period, now we're seeing that the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago was detained, and now finding out that he was on this wanted list by Interpol. Interpol is an international criminal list, so if you commit a crime in Trinidad and Tobago and you're trying to escape to any other country, the government at that country, the people at the airport would have that list. So once you enter that country, you will be arrested and deported back to your country. This is the list the former Prime Minister was on. And I'm like, what is really going on in Trinidad and Tobago? And this is not the first I'm seeing something like this. I remember when the Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, started talking about his experience, it reminded me of what happened in America just last year with Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was a Democratic congresswoman, and she had some falling out with the Democrats. She later on came out and said Kamala Harris put her on that list, and that was like political retribution. So based on what the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is saying in this interview that he did, when he's talking about the Commissioner of Police, and it makes you wonder what is going on in Trinidad and Tobago. It is going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds, to see if the former Prime Minister is going to get answers as to how he ended up on that list. Because this is crazy. If this is like some political thing, then Trinidad and Tobago is in more trouble than anyone could have ever imagined. Because this is some serious allegation that the former Prime Minister is putting out there. So just in case you just woke up and you have not heard this story, this is the former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Keith Rawley. He is giving account of his experience that took place on Sunday coming back from Antigua, Barbuda.
I did not inform the Antiguan authorities that I was coming there, that I could have untraveling given my passport, identified as former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago in that passport. I am in transit to Montserrat, where I am going as a guest of the government of Montserrat to participate in some activities. When I got to Antigua, I had a little layover with Flores. I went through the normal arrangements that other entrants would go through. And I submitted my passport when it was my turn to enter Antigua on my returns. I got tremendous assistance from the officer in contact with me, who assisted me in putting the app on my phone and making the application to enter and so on. And then this officer is extremely nice to me, very cooperative, very happy to be dealing with me. And she then went through her process. She put the passport to the machine reading instrument. And then she blinked. She slowed down her conviviality. And then she asked me to hold it down. And she left me standing there. And she disappeared behind some counter into some office. And after a significant period in the context of going through immigration, she came back. Her demeanor changed a little bit, but she was still very pleasant, and she did not tell me anything. She went through the process, and she asked me to come through, and she escorted me out of the area where I was standing. I didn't think much of it because I've been through many airports. I've filled up with 5 passports in my day, or more than 5 passports, I should say. So I was familiar with sometimes. So I got into Antigua, and I'm in the airport, and a little surprisingly after, Antigua security came looking for me, found me, and took me into the protocol system and took me into the executive lounge where I would complete my waiting. One of the officers who I interacted with there, in making conversation with her, I mentioned my delay at immigration. Because I was kind of, while not bothered, I was a little concerned. And somewhere along the line, I was then told after I was there for a while, somebody spoke to somebody, and then I was told that the reason why I was delayed is because I was on a watch list. I didn't say anything then because I didn't want to create any issue in Antigua. I went on to Montserrat. I was received in Montserrat and enjoyed the protocols of the government of Montserrat and the people of Montserrat for a week. And we did what we had to do, and I came back to Antigua on my way home. I'm going through the system again in similar manner. This time a different officer. And the process went very smoothly until my passport was submitted to the machine detailing base. Same story. The officer stopped me, asked me to hold on, and the officer disappeared again. After a protracted period, the officer came back to me and said to me that I was on some list which requires me to be. What's going on there? So I asked the officer, what is this about? The officer said to me, I can't tell you what it's about, but if you want to speak to my supervisor, I can arrange for you to speak to the supervisor. I said, yes, I will speak to the supervisor. I went to speak to the supervisor, and the supervisor, then extremely pleasant officer, explained to me that this development, which I'm experiencing, is as a result of mistaken identity. And I found that a little strange, because I don't know that is the kind of thing that happens to me. And I asked, mistaken identity with whom? And she said, that another person who may not have the same birth date as you. All right. I asked, and who is interested in that person? She said, Antigua police. And that's what I got. Very concerned, and I knew that this is not just any ordinary situation. Because people's location and Antigua police are not arbitrary things. I continued to travel on to Trinidad and Tobago. I got back in some Interpol, and I made the necessary investigations to Interpol. And my colleagues, my friends in Interpol at that time knew what they were going to. And it was confirmed to me then that I was on Interpol. And the issues that arose in Antigua are as a result of Antigua police responding to Interpol and Interpol's interest in me. Ladies and gentlemen, it immediately raises the question, what exactly would have happened with me and to me to cause Interpol to be interested in me? Because I told you earlier on, Interpol deals with criminal matters. So for the fact that, and it's no longer a question here as the officer telling me immigration of mistaken identity. It is confirmation that I am of interest to Interpol. I'm saying here now to you that the only way my name could have got to Interpol, it would have, by way of documentation of one kind or another, placed there by some authority, either in Trinidad and Tobago or some other nation. Interpol covers 190 other countries in the world. Interpol covers them all. And what it means is that once you go on that list, that interest is available to every country in the world, every police or immigration authority in the world, because you are now a peculiar person of interest for criminal matters. And usually it is criminal fugitive matters. People who are wanted and cannot be found, you ask Interpol to help you find them. People who are fleeing a country, you ask Interpol to identify them so they can be detained until the country who is looking after them, looking for them, get to the station. And then the question arises, how did I get on Interpol's list? And it is crystal clear to me that my name could only have gone to Interpol from an entity or entities in Trinidad and Tobago. The way, as a former chairman of the National Security Council, I am familiar with these matters. I know that there would be a particular officer who is the Interpol contact. So anybody in Trinidad and Tobago for whom Interpol is to be invoked, that particular officer would be involved. That officer is a police officer. And as I read for you from the website a while ago, the Commissioner of Police is the head of that bureau which the police can invoke from time to time. So I'm saying here now to you that having experience in Antigua 3 times in the last few days, it has to be that there are questions to be answered here to me and to the public by the Commissioner of Police as to whether in fact I am, as a former Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, having left office 3 months ago, enjoying my retirement, moving forward into whatever years I have left in me. What is it I have done in this country to have put me under the rubric of criminal and moving from one CARICOM nation, Trinidad and Tobago, to Antigua on my way to Montserrat, which would be known to the authorities there if they check the correct database, which is available to them, and I am deemed to be in the category of fugitive, so that I have to be stopped by Antigua immigration and wanted by Antigua police on the request of Interpol. Interestingly enough, I went to London 2 weeks ago. I applied for a visa to enter UK. I got a visa. I went to London. I came back from London. This all went very smoothly. That was normal. 1 week later, I'm going to Antigua. I'm onward to Montserrat. And I am now in the category of fugitive and being experienced what I just described to you. This raises the question. You would have seen the Commissioner of Police on his first day in office saying by press conference to you all that he is all for transparency and accountability. And I here now say to him that I too would like that transparency to apply to me And if he is to be believed, as per that press conference of the first day of the expedition, I would like him to tell this population what exactly is the crime that I have some connection with in this country to cause the police to be moved.
Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more amazing content. And remember, peace. I'm out. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more